"Kill me, not my children," she begged. The sheriff dropped his badge and paid with his life. The first scream split the dark like a knife through wet cloth. Horses kicked inside the barn, blind with smoke. A child cried. Then another. Then silence. Ruth stumbled out, dragging one boy, choking soot on his lips. Her hair was singed, eyes wide, dress half burned. "My daughter's still inside," she screamed. No one moved. The sheriff stood near the fence, arms crossed. His hat was pulled low. A match lit between his fingers, flicked to the dirt. "Ain't nothing to be done now. She's alive." Ruth ran back toward the flames, only for two men to grab her arms. "Let me go, goddamn you. She's only 6. One of the men mumbled, "It's too late, Ruth. It's gone too fast." Ruth clawed at the ground. Her knees hit the dirt. "Then kill me. Kill me instead. Not my children. You hear me? Kill me." The sheriff didn't flinch. His shadow flickered orange in the rising fire. The barn groaned. The roof cracked like bone. "Why are you just standing there?" Ruth spat. "You said you'd protect this town. You said you'd protect us." The sheriff didn't answer. Ruth crawled forward until the heat knocked her back. A beam fell inside. She screamed again. It wasn't words anymore. Just sound. Someone ran for a bucket. Another shouted to stop him. "You'll feed the fire." "That's oil hay." "It's set." The sheriff lit another match. Didn't smoke it. Just watched it burn down to his skin, then dropped it. "No one move," he said. "This is done." Ruth stared at him like a woman who had already died. Behind her, the barn collapsed. A whoosh, then sparks flew into the stars. Children wailed behind her. Someone whispered a prayer. A man took off his hat. Ruth rose slowly, her dress blackened. Her hands raw. She pointed a shaking finger at the sheriff. "You did this." The sheriff said nothing. "You let it burn." He looked up finally. "Just once. No one made me God." "Ruth." Then he turned and walked away, boots crunching through ash, the screams still chasing behind him. The barn was still hissing when Ruth sank to the dirt, one child under each arm. Smoke clung to their hair, eyes swollen red. Her apron, white once, was stained deep maroon, crusted at the seams, soaked through the waist. She didn't speak, just rocked. A deputy stepped forward. "We'll take the boys to Doc—" "No." Her voice was low. "Dry, they need to be checked. You touch them, I'll bite your hand off." He paused, looked to the sheriff's truck pulling away. "Where's Ellie?" The younger boy asked, voice thin. Ruth pulled him close. "She's not here, baby. She was in the barn." "She's not here," Ruth said again. Her hands trembled, knuckles white. The older boy stared at the ground. "I heard her scream." "You didn't." "I did. She screamed for you." "Shut your mouth, Caleb." "He didn't. I heard her." "She said—" "Well, I said shut it." He went quiet, looked away. Ruth stood. The apron hung heavy from her hips. Blood soaked down one leg. Her hands left red prints on both boys' shirts. One woman muttered, "She's hurt." Another answered, "That ain't her blood." A man near the fence whispered, "Then whose?" No one replied. Ruth started walking. No shoes, one boy in each hand. Through ash and broken glass, past the church where nobody prayed anymore. She didn't look back. The boys kept pace. No one cried. Caleb limped. The little one, Levi, sucked on a soot-stained thumb. Ruth said nothing. Outside her porch, she stopped. Looked at the chair where Ellie used to sit and shell peas. Looked at the swing. The red ribbon was still tied to the post. "You boys go inside." They didn't move. I said go. Caleb hesitated.
"Mama, now!" They went. She sat on the steps.
Looked at her hands. Tried wiping them on the apron. Only smeared it worse. A knock. Deputy again. "Sheriff says we need a statement. Sheriff can go to hell." He said we should make it official. Ruth stood. Walked down 2 steps. "You want official?" He stepped back. She untied the apron. "Held it out. You take this." "You pin it to his badge." He didn't take it. I said take it. He reached, hesitated, took it. Ruth turned. Climbed the steps slowly and went inside. The door clicked behind her. The deputy stared at the apron in his hands. Blood still wet. The sheriff's boots hit gravel as he stepped off the porch of the old service station. Morning sun is low. Crows are picking at something down the road. He lit a cigarette and stared out at nothing. A boy on a bike tossed something near the mailbox. Didn't stop. The sheriff watched him ride off. Walked slowly to the fence. Bent down. It wasn't a paper. It wasn't folded. It was torn from a ledger. Corners burned. 4 words written in thick red ink. Not blood. Too dry. Too clean. You know what happened? He turned it over. Blank. No envelope. No name. He looked down the road again. Just dust. Inside, he poured coffee. Black. No sugar. Laid the paper on the table. Studied the handwriting. Neat, sharp edges. Someone who meant it. Someone who had time. Sheriff, Deputy Cole stepped in. Hat in hand. What? You seen the apron? I saw it. Still wet. I know. You think... I said I know. Cole stared at the note. That new? No, Cole waited. She's not speaking to anyone. She shouldn't. Cole looked down. Boys are shook. So am I. You think she wrote it? No, she wouldn't waste ink. Cole looked toward the window. People talking. Saying you knew something. I did. You gonna tell it? No. Why not? The sheriff took a long sip. 'Cause no one would believe it. Cole nodded. Didn't argue. Just stood there. You think I burned that barn? The sheriff asked. I think you didn't stop it. The sheriff didn't blink. Cole backed out. I'll be at the hall. Tell him I'm sick. You look it. Alone again, the sheriff took out a match. Lit the note. Watched the red letters curl black. Dropped the ash in the sink. He didn't speak. He just looked at the badge on the table. Still had Ruth's blood on the edge. He picked it up. Wiped it on his sleeve. Set it back down. Then he sat and waited. For what, he didn't know. But it was coming. The door creaked open slowly. Ruth stepped into the old post office like she was entering a church. Dust hung in the air. Shelves half-rotted. Counters split. No one had walked through here in years. She shut the door behind her. Locked it. A dog barked outside far off. Then nothing. She moved to the old metal cabinet behind the counter. Pulled once, stuck, pulled again. It gave. Papers fell, moldy, useless. Beneath them, a thick green ledger. She opened it. Columns, names, dates, payment amounts. Girls, Bethany. 200 Lorna, $175 June, 150 Ellie. She froze. Ellie's name had no amount. Just the date. Yesterday. Ruth touched the page like it was skin. Her hands shook. She turned it. The next page was ripped out. Bootsteps creaked behind her. You shouldn't be here, came a voice. She turned. The old woman from the church. Widow Ames, long coat. Gloves on her hands. You followed me. I always follow the ones who don't scream. Ruth held up the book. You knew. Not all of it. You wrote this? No, but I know who did. Then say it. Widow Ames walked forward. You already know. I want to hear it. The widow stared at the torn page. He sold her. Ruth's voice cracked. You tell me. I told him no. Years ago. That didn't stop it. Why'd you stay quiet? Because no one listens to old women, or mothers, or girls. You know that. Ruth looked back at the book. Where's the missing page? I burned it. Why? Because it had your name. Ruth staggered back. What? You were next. She slammed the book shut. He'll pay. The widow didn't blink. Make sure he does. Ruth left the book on the counter, walked past the old woman without a word. Her steps were firm now. Outside, the wind picked up. Inside, Widow Ames stared at the ledger, ran a hand over Ellie's name, then she sat in the dust, folded her hands, and waited. Ruth found him behind the feed store, slumped against a barrel, bottle in hand. Mud on his boots. The shirt was soaked with sweat. His name was Emmett. Used to work for her father. She didn't speak, just stood there. He saw her shadow and flinched. I didn't know it'd be you. You knew I'd come. He looked away. Took a long pull. You were there, she said. No, you watched. I didn't. You watched. He nodded, once slow. Why? They said it'd be quick. Who? He wiped his mouth. Sheriff, deputy, one of them boy from the bank. What did they tell you? Said it was orders. Said she was, say it, she was payment. Ruth's jaw locked. Her voice dropped. Where? He looked up at her. Don't tell me. You don't want... Tell me. He broke. Orchard back edge, where the trees thin out. There's a rock. Looks like a heart. She's near that. Ruth's breath hitched. You helped. No, I just watched. That's worse. She turned. Ruth, she didn't stop. He shouted, you'll find her boot. That's all they left. She walked straight through town. No hat, no coat. Just dust in her eyes and rage in her chest. The orchard lay quiet. Late summer. Ripe peaches split on the ground, buzzing with flies. She walked past the good rose, past the old shed, toward the clearing. She saw it, a heart-shaped stone half sunk. She dropped to her knees and dug with bare hands, 2 inches down. Cloth. Her tiny blue boot. She stopped. Then she screamed, long, loud, like the barn again. Like the girl inside it never left. Behind her, the wind rattled the branches. She cradled the boot. Rocked it in her lap, Ellie. A crow landed nearby. She looked at the tree. Its bark cracked, like it had been crying sap for years. She dug again, kept digging. Dirt under nails, hands torn. She didn't care. She found nothing else, just the boot, just silence. She looked back toward town, and for the first time since the fire, she smiled. It was the kind that didn't reach the eyes. The town hall was packed tight. Hot breath, no air. Farmers' wives, boys in church shirts. The sheriff sat at the front table, arms folded. Judge Mason beside him. Cole is leaning on the wall. Rusted fan spinning slowly above them. The door slammed open. Ruth stepped in, boot in one hand. Blood under her nails. Dirt on her knees. She didn't blink. Walked straight down the aisle. People parted. No one said a word. She reached the table. Set the boot in front of the sheriff, hard. It made a sound like a bone. "That's yours?" she asked. The sheriff looked at it, then at her. "Answer me." He didn't. "Say it," he swallowed. "Ruth," she cut him off. "You knew." Mason stood. "Miss, sit down." He did. "You want a statement?" she said. "Here it is." They took her, buried her like trash, sold her like meat. And he watched, eyes turned to the sheriff. He didn't move. "I begged you," she said, voice shaking. "I begged you. Kill me, not my children. You let her burn." The sheriff looked down. "You going to lie now?" "No." "Then say it." He stood slowly. Looked at the crowd. "I was wrong. That ain't enough. I let it happen. That still ain't enough." The room held its breath. "I was scared," he said. "You should be." He took off his hat, set it on the table, reached for the badge on his chest, unpinned it. "Held it. You want this back?" he asked. "I want her back," Ruth said. He nodded, then laid the badge next to the boot. He stepped away from the table. Cole whispered, "What are you doing?" "Something I should have done years ago." He turned to Ruth. "I won't run." She didn't speak. "I won't hide." She didn't blink. He walked toward the door. Someone shouted, "You quitting?" He paused. "No, I'm done pretending I was ever sheriff in the first place." He left. The badge sat in silence beside the boot. Ruth stood still. Then she picked them both up, one in each hand, turned, and walked out the way she came. The sheriff's boots hit the courthouse steps with a hollow thud. Sun high, eyes everywhere. He didn't look back. Inside, no one moved. The badge still lay on the table beside the little boot. Dust swirled in the air like ash. Mason cleared his throat. "This changes nothing." No one answered. A woman in the back whispered, "It changes everything." Another said, "He admitted it." Cole shifted, uneasy. "Y'all best keep calm, like we've been doing." Someone snapped. Silence. Outside, the sheriff lit a match. Let it burn to his fingers. Dropped it. Stared at nothing. Behind him, the courthouse door creaked open. Widow Ames stepped out slowly. Hands folded. "You done?" she asked. "I am." "Took you long enough." He nodded. She studied him. "You gonna run?" "No." "Good, folks are tired of chasing ghosts." He didn't reply. She looked past him to the empty road. "They'll talk now." They always talked. No, this time they'll speak. A window opened upstairs. A girl peeked out, then shut it quick. The wind picked up. Inside, a farmer stood. "I saw what he did to her daddy's land," he said. Another stood. "He came for my niece. I paid him to leave." One by one they rose. Cole watched them. Quiet. A voice near the door said, "It's starting." Back outside, the sheriff sat on the steps. Looked smaller now. Less iron, more bone. Widow Ames leaned close. "About damn time." And for the first time in years, no one called her crazy. The chapel sat crooked on the hill. Boards warped. Windows blacked. No services have been held in years. Just silence and secrets. The sheriff struck a match. Held it to the doorway. Dry paper took fast. Flames crawled up the walls like they'd been waiting. Inside, wooden boxes cracked. Stacks of ledgers curled in the heat. Tapes melted slowly. Letters turned to smoke. He walked out calm. sat on the front steps, lit a cigarette off the fire behind him. Footsteps crunched gravel. Ruth. She stopped a few feet away, gun steady in her hand. "You done hiding?" she asked. "I was never hiding. Just waiting." "For what?" "This." Flames popped behind him. "You think burning it fixes anything?" "No, but it stops the next girl." She stepped closer. "You knew where the tapes were?" He nodded. "You knew the names?" "All of them." She raised the gun. He didn't flinch. "Say her name," she said. He looked at her. "Say it, Ellie." She exhaled. "You gonna shoot me?" "Yes." He nodded once. "Good." The chapel cracked louder. "The roof is ready to fall." He stood. Took one step down. "Do it now," he said. She didn't hesitate. One shot. He dropped. Smoke swallowed the building. Ruth didn't move. The fire burned louder than her. Breathing, then she holstered the gun, turned, and walked back toward town without looking. Back. The shot still echoed when the wind picked up. Leaves swirled down the hill like they'd heard the truth and fled. Ruth stood over the body. No twitch, no breath. Just red soaking through his shirt. His eyes open, empty. She crouched. Closed them. Didn't say a word, didn't pray. She dragged him by the arms. Dirt scratched his boots. The chapel still burned behind them, silent now, like it understood. Past the orchard. Past the old well. She stopped in the clearing near the tree line. Picked up the shovel buried in the grass. The same one they used for Ellie's first swing post. She dug one grave wide. Deep enough to forget. Earth heavy. Sun cruel. She dropped him in. He landed like something broken long ago. She stared at him, then dug again. This one is smaller, slower. Her hands blistered. Blood at her palms. She didn't stop. When it was done, she knelt between them, sweat on her neck, dirt on her face. "Eyes swollen but dry," she whispered. "Forgive me." Then corrected herself. "No, don't." She reached into her coat, pulled out the badge, set it on his chest, then pulled the tiny blue boot from her pocket, held it tight, lowered it into the second hole. Not a child's grave. Not exactly, but close enough. She filled them both, one with stone silence, the other with memory. By the time she stood, the wind had covered her tracks. The orchard bloomed quietly. Peach trees are taller now, branches heavy, wind soft steady. Kids ran through the rows barefoot, dirt on their shins, juice on their mouths. One girl stopped near the back edge. "Look down, Mama," she called. "There's a rock shaped like a heart." The mother squinted. "Leave it be." "Why?" "Just do." The girl poked at the stone anyway. "It's warm. Then it doesn't want to be touched." The child stood. "Feels like someone's watching." They're not. Back near the porch, an old woman in a chair rocked slowly. Ruth, face worn, hair grey, a bowl of peas in her lap. She listened. Wind brushed through the trees. Not loud, not sharp. "Just enough," it whispered. "Names, Ellie, Bethany, Lorna, soft like breath." The girl by the rock looked up. "Did you hear that?" Her brother shrugged. "Hear what?" A voice. "Stop being weird." It said something, probably just birds. "No, a name." She touched the stone again, this time with both hands. "Mama? Come back now." But now the girl ran, left the rock behind. Wind settled. Ruth blinked slowly. Didn't speak. Her hands kept working the peas. Thumb, split, drop. Thumb, split, drop. Inside, the ledger sat on a shelf, closed. Dusty beside it, a single blue boot. Clean. The trees rustled once more. No one looked back, but the wind kept speaking. Just low enough for the dead to hear.